What's going on, everybody? We are officially live, and let me take this ridiculous thing off. I mean, it's not really ridiculous, but obviously it's important right now. But I'm not really utilizing it. But I am doing a live stream, and I figured I would go ahead and make a goofy thumbnail. It's not really too goofy; it's fitting for the times. But how's everybody doing on here? Martinez Joe 74, what's up? Every time I see your name, I think of somebody I knew from high school. Joe Beans, 80s horror fan 88, what's going on? How's everybody doing? Oh, Maxa Jackson, how have you been, man? Holy moly. Yeah, it's been a while. David Rembert, what's going on? Lyndon, hey, right down the road. Right there. And I'm having my first alcoholic beverage in 45 days. I really haven't been a big drinker in quite a bit, but I wanted to do, my friends and I were going to start a beer review channel on here right before all this started. We did one video and it was just kind of like a practice video. Ben Kylo, what's going on? Cinema, hey, what's up? Cinematech? But yeah, I've actually got this. I've never tried it before. It's a Moscow Mule. It's from the Copper Can, and this was going to be something that we were going to review on the channel. But I'm going to go ahead and try it. It's a craft vodka, ginger beer, and lime juice. And this is funny because I'm a big beer fan, non-alcoholic and alcoholic. And I guess I was searching for something ginger. I like ginger candy too. And this came up as like a Facebook recommendation. So I actually wrote to them and I was like, hey, would you, be willing to send me some of these if I do a review? And I never heard back. And then they just randomly showed up just like last week. So um, this is going to happen. But I'm going to go ahead and try it. 10% ABV. It's 3 shots in a can, apparently. I'm not 100% sure if I've ever had a Moscow Mule before, but I like it. The lime and the ginger really come out strong there. But how's everybody doing? How's everybody been, dealing with this? Like, it's been beautiful here in New Jersey, like the past few days. So I've been walking around a lot, getting a lot of walks in, trying to do some badminton and stuff like that. But it's funny because I feel like I've seen more people walking outside in my neighborhood than I have like in the past 2 weeks than I have in the past like 2 years. I think people just going stir crazy and doing anything to get outside. Yeah, you're still working. I feel like I'm kind of you're kind of lucky for that. The Aquarian, what's going on? 80s fan, horror fan 88 with the lockdown here in the UK. I'm going through WWF. Oh, nice. Those were the days, like WCW, WWF, like during that whole time back in the day. UFC. What's up, Prince Noise? I like that name, by the way. Maxa Jackson. Haven't been watching as many movies recently, but started getting back into it. There you go. That's good to hear. I've been watching a lot of older cinema titles, some ones that I've had for a while that I finally put in, and I've started to realize that like these films were influential at the time, but we've come such a far ways that I feel like they're so dated, and I mean I'm thankful that those happened because without those films, like the original Westworld, for instance, the movie from I think 1973 with Josh Brolin. Uh, it's a good movie, but it's so and Yul Brynner too, and it's so straightforward. It just left me wanting more. But I feel like it, obviously because the TV show came from that, but also I feel like it definitely influenced Terminator too, as well. But especially towards the climax of it. But I definitely like it. But I was like, it's it. I was expecting more after all this hype, for all these years. But I've seen some older, classic cinema films, and I'm just thinking like, I feel like I've seen this so many times since, and better done. I think it's it all stemmed from those original films. We've come so far that I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of just a little cynical now when it comes to it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Latania, what is this? Have you seen? No, I have not seen Come to Daddy, but I do plan on watching it soon. I've heard good things. It's been on my radar for a bit. Uh, I've had to stop going outside because so many people were out. I love your channel. I've been watching the foreign movie hall. I'm curious if you have any recommendations. Love your stream. Thank you. Depends on what kind of foreign movies you're interested in. I can tell you a few of my favorites. La Haine is a modern black and white one that I like. If we're looking for horror, Inside for like French extreme, Frontiers. Mutants is one I never hear anybody talk about for French horror movies. I know everybody raves about Martyrs, but that's probably like my fourth favorite from the French extreme. What do you do for a living? I'm in sales. I have mentioned it before. Um, but yeah, I feel like I've been in some form of sales since I was like 16. I recently checked out Honeymoon. Oh, I love Honeymoon so much. Oh, I'm sorry you didn't like it. Oh, I thought the ending was so fitting. You gotta appreciate some ambiguity. I don't feel like movies need to be spoon-fed and give you all the answers. I appreciate when, it's like that. I thought it was so fitting for that film. Sorry you didn't enjoy it, but I definitely loved it. And I did a full movie review, so it should have given you a better idea as far as that if you check that out. Martyrs, yeah, Martyrs to me was a tale of two halves essentially. I love the first half of the film, and the second half was essentially torture porn. And I couldn't get into it, and I thought the whole concept of the martyrdom was absurd, and so I couldn't get into it for that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But what's everybody's drink of choice as well? Like I said, I haven't had an alcoholic beverage in 45 days. I'm not too big into drinking these days, but I figured this was a fitting time for it. This is strong. I'm such a lightweight now. The copper can. It's funny because when all this stuff first came out, there's the whole meme going around. Like if you played beer pong in this kind of basement, it's like a dirty old basement, then you're not afraid of the coronavirus. And I lived in my fraternity house in college, and it looked like that meme. It was just disgusting, dirty basement. And we would play, we would drink the beer right out of the cups, and we get the ping pong ball off the floor with hair and dirt all over it. We would dunk in a dirty water cup, and we didn't care. And we lived through it. Now I couldn't imagine doing that though, because I'm a little bit OCD and overly hygienic. So I couldn't imagine doing that now, but it's kind of funny looking back on that. Oops, hold on. I pressed the wrong button there. Sorry, Ben Kylo, I pressed on your one by mistake and some kind of weird page popped up. Yes, I do plan to do a review for Hounds of Love. I want to do like a bunch of reviews. That's the thing that I want to really focus on my channel more is doing straight up movie reviews. And I see there's 14 people in here right now. If you guys could give this video a thumbs up, I would definitely appreciate it. It would help it get more exposure. So when I do these live streams in the future, more people can check them out and know about it. I did not know that, Joe, that you don't drink. What's up, Simeon? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope so. Movie fan 45. See you later. And Ben Kylo, I watched a really cool Arrow title recently called Massacre Gun. I need to check that one out, actually. I know of it, but I haven't checked it out. Yeah, Tom Brady. I feel like that news is so overshadowed because of everything going on in the world that, it's kind of surprising. That would normally be like the biggest news for months. But I feel like because of everything going on, it's kind of a little bit of a trickle in the bucket. I'm drinking Dos Equis. Johnny Walker, all right, styling. What do you think of Cronenberg as a director? Would you put him on your top five? I definitely like. I don't think I put him on my top five personally. Probably I would say top 15. He was definitely really influential for me as a kid. I watched a lot of his earlier stuff, and it's funny. I was just thinking about that recently. There was a T-shirt company that has like the VHS T-shirt design, and I feel like they left out a couple of his like the Brood. I think should have been on there over some of his other ones. But I'd have to say if I can find it, I should be able to find it over here. Like Videodrome was so influential for me when it came out, and I still have the old DVD of this. I should upgrade that, but that was mind-blowing, mind-altering for me when that first came out. And actually his son as well is actually a pretty good director. I saw a movie recently with him as the director. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was such a I want to say it was Antiviral. I think it was Antiviral. But that was such a really good film as well. Very unique, and it's hard to do something unique in this day and age. And you definitely tell he was influenced by his father. Are you going to did the Blu-ray giveaway? Oh yes, I'm going to be doing I don't know if I should announce it now, the winner. Let me know if you want me to announce it now or after this. I already picked a winner. I just haven't announced it yet. I was waiting to hear back from the horror pack. They have to like send me a code, and then I send the link and code to the winner. Would you put David Cronenberg in your top five? Again, for me, in the like when I was younger, maybe, but now I'd probably say top 15 for me. Andrew Goodman, what's up? Did you watch The Platform? No, I have not. I am not familiar with that. Dead Ringers, absolutely. I feel like pretty much everything he's done has been amazing. There's been some ones that I feel like have been even underrated too. There's the one where I'm trying to remember the name of it right now, where it's like a video game one, and I have it over here somewhere. I gotta rearrange the whole collection. I'm getting close though. I'm doing these random horror Blu-ray shelf videos. And then once I'm done with them all, I'm gonna take them all off and alphabetize finally. And I'm so close to it. But and to me, Crash. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Crash. That's the only Cronenberg Crash is the only Crash out there for me. The other Crash that won the Oscars is probably one of the worst Oscar-winning award movies ever with Chicago. But I can't wait to see that get a Blu-ray review or Blu-ray release rather, hopefully in the near future. Yes, absolutely. There you go. You know what I'm saying. Existenz, thank you so much. Hey, Mac G forever. What's going on, homie? Target has a Blu-ray, so you buy two, get one free. That's cool. I'm not going to Target. I don't know. I'll have to check out what they have online. Nina, what's up? How are you? Hopefully we have football this year so we can have our league. Absolutely. I love the fantasy football league every year. Thank you for being a part of it as well. I thought it was a blast again last year. I was gonna ask something. Yeah, absolutely. Spader for sure. I'll have to think about that and get back to you on the top five off the top of my head. I feel like I'm getting a little inundated right here. Did you see the new Scream Factory titles? No, I haven't. What's coming out? I noticed that somebody posted on Instagram. I think it was Blues from the Basement posted it, and he was the first person I saw that posted. Jaws 4K is coming. So I'm excited for that. Universal going to be releasing Jaws on 4K. And I think a lot of older films can benefit from the 4K treatment. A lot of people don't seem to grasp that, but I think even older films could look better than newer films. Oh, you know, this is really growing on me. The copper can Moscow Mule. I don't know if I've ever had a Moscow Mule before. And I know they come in these like 10 cups like that or brass cups. But this is the first time I've ever had any kind of like mixed thing that comes in a can like it. But I'm gonna be doing a review for it, and I just wanted to kind of get a wet my tongue. This is my first alcoholic beverage I've had in 45 days. So, have you guys ever had a Moscow Mule? It is strong. I feel like I'm a lightweight. I haven't had any hard alcohol, especially in super probably since November, I think. Uh, Interesting. Interesting. Showgirls? What's your favorite decade for horror? 80s. That's what I grew up on. 80s horror to me. I know some of it has some cheesy ones, but there's some classics as well. But for me, that's just what I grew up on. I love especially the 80s slashers. It's some amazing films. To me, like 90s would be one of my least favorite for horror. I know a lot of people love the 90s. There are a few good ones. Candyman, I think, might be the best that it comes to mind. But yeah, I see a lot of love for the 90s. It's not I would go 80s and 70s. And even the 2010s have been pretty amazing. And of course, John Carpenter's The Thing, which is right there, my all-time favorite movie. I was watching a 1982 film from the other day. Looked great absolutely, for sure. A lot of older films could look amazing. That's one thing I don't get, especially on Instagram. I see a lot of VHS collectors and people posting watching movies on VHS. We watched VHS back in the day because there was nothing better. But watching, a Blu-ray now, and then I remember trying to watch a VHS tape like a year ago, and I couldn't do it. The picture quality was so terrible. And I don't know if it's like a hipster thing or what with people watching VHS tapes, but why would you ever want to watch I get the nostalgia factor, but you can't fully enjoy the film like that. You watch a Blu-ray and compare it to the VHS, it's mind-blowing. I can't even sit through it. The audio qualities, the pops, all the picture quality is it's unwatchable to me. So I don't understand that. I see it so many people on Instagram posting VHS and watching VHS. I'm just like, why? You can get the Blu-ray for $5. Go to, you order it online. I don't get it. I get the nostalgia factor, but I feel like most of the people that were watching and posting them didn't really grow up in that era, so I think it's a hipstery thing. Kind of don't understand it. Any good horror movies out worth watching? I'm behind my release stuff. I don't think I've seen too many great movies recently. I thought the new Grudge movie, which isn't a remake, a lot of people were calling it a remake. It's not. It's kind of like a side story. I didn't think it was terrible. I think it's worth at least a one-time watch. I think it got a lot of unfair criticism for it. I'm not saying it's great, but I definitely thought it had some good atmosphere. And I like the lead actress in there a lot too. She was in Mandy too. But I do want to see, there was somebody posted on Instagram. I saw there's a movie on Shutter, and you can get a free trial. You can look up online to get a free trial for Shutter. But there's an Argentinian movie called Terrified, not to be confused with Terrifier with Art the Clown. But Terrified, for the clips that they showed, or like the shots, looked amazing. I'm really curious. That person sold me on just seeing those pictures. So I definitely want to check that one out. And again, I want to do full on movie reviews again coming up soon. I just hate editing. It's so tedious. Even if it's just like little cuts, I just, it can take a couple hours to do. And I hate it so much. I do all my editing on my iPhone and the small screen. And I hate it. But yeah, let me know what everybody else is watching. Give me some good movies to watch. I actually have in the player. I just started up, but I decided to pause it and take a hot shower, and then come do a live stream with you guys. The movie Legion. Let me know. Would you guys consider that a horror movie? I feel like it is kind of like religious horror. But scrolling through. Uh, Scream, without a doubt. I was never the biggest Scream fan. Mac G Forever, you put accidentally. I didn't see if there the rest of the comment on that one. No. It's the new Grudge movie isn't a prequel. It's not a remake. It's more of a side story. It connects certain parts from other movies and kind of homages. But yeah, absolutely. The Fly remake is amazing. You're on top of that. And actually, I like The Fly too. I recently got the Scream Factory box set. I haven't done a video showing that yet, but I like the Fly too. Corinne, what's going on? Yes, I know, I'm way behind. I gotta do the Hounds for Love review. It's an Australian movie. I really enjoyed the heck out of that one, and I think more people need to check it out. If I can help, just a few people find that movie and appreciate it, I think it definitely deserves more exposure, more love. Ronin KS, I'm hoping someone would release a new Blu-ray for American Psycho with more special features. I know it got a recent 4K release, maybe about like a year or so ago now. But I don't know if there's going to be any new one coming out unless like Scream Factory picks it up, which I don't, maybe, who knows? It might be possible. I'd love to see them. If they can do some good with it, I can appreciate it. Scrolling through, I'm watching Constantine. I haven't seen Constantine, but I do like the movie for that one. I like the idea of the world. Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember really liking it, and that's why I was just decided to put it in and replay it. It's been a long time. And let me know, has anybody been watching Tiger King? I hear so many people raving about that show on Netflix, and I just don't know if I can invest like 7 hours into that. Seeing the pictures from it, I was like, I already know what Florida looks like. Sorry for everybody in Florida, but it just looks out like it looks like a bunch of like methed out trailer trash and with tigers. I don't know. I don't get the appeal for it. I saw the pictures. I was like, this looks like nothing I'd ever want to watch. But everybody keeps raving about it. Everybody I've ever seen, it's been positive, like rave reviews. But I just don't know if I can sit through it. I keep seeing it. I'm just like, I don't know if I can sit through 7 hours of people like that. Oof, it's rough. Yeah, Tiger King, it just doesn't interest me from the pictures that I've seen, the memes, the clips. I've seen, so I just went on Instagram, and there was the first thing was a clip of a tiger pulling a guy down. I was like, I don't know, man. And just I've seen Florida on the news. It's good enough for me, but I don't know. It might just get the best of me. So many people keep raving about it, but curiosity, I don't know. What's up? What's going on, Artie? 52020 or 522 Ortiz. It's funny. My old friend from high school just added me on Facebook. Uh, Stephen Danny Ortiz. What's up? So I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people on here commenting with like similar names from people I knew back in high school. Yeah, I fully, Latania, I'm probably messed up your name. I think you might have corrected me on that a while back, but that's one thing I would always say about that. By the end, it's such like it's the touchiness of it, the emotional aspect, and it's the gooiness too. But that's one thing that I always loved about that. I remember saying that all the time too. So that's awesome. What's going on? Phil's Creepy Videos. What's going on? Are you in Canada, by the way? You've got some good stuff. I just recently started checking out your channel. Eddie, what's going on, man? How are you? Where did you get your media storage shelves? So all of these bookcases are 6.5 feet tall. They're from IKEA. They're the Billy bookcases. They're the tall and wide ones. They're the biggest ones that they have. And I've got 9 of those. And then I got 11 of these little drawbridge ones from Amazon right there. And I will, I don't know if I don't know. I think they're just called drawbridge. I'm not 100% sure of the model, but they're around 25, 30 bucks a pop. And I definitely think they're worth it as well. Uh, yeah, it's Zach Livingston. That's a good question. My favorite horror movie kill scene. There's so many, crazy ones, but to me, some amazing ones. But one of the ones that I've really loved that I keep thinking about all the time is from Hatchet. Victor Crowley, just the scene where he just rips the face like that. Oh, that is such an epic, amazing, like the gore effects were phenomenal. I love that movie. It's a great throwback to 80s slashers. Unfortunately, the recent one was terrible in my opinion. A movie called just Victor Crowley was the fourth in the series. So hopefully we can see more good things from the Hatchet series. I think it deserves a good franchise, but maybe some new creative life in there too. I think Adam Green definitely has the passion and obviously the love for horror movies, but something needs to change for that series, and it deserves a good full franchise. I also want to see somebody else pick up the Jeepers Creepers franchise because the third movie in that was terrible too. Should have just been called The Truck. And I feel like with social media getting as big as it is right now, uh, somebody else needs to take over for the director too because I can't believe that he had a career after what he did. I didn't know about that until I was already a fan of the first Jeepers Creepers movie. I love the first Jeepers Creepers movie. And I think the Creeper deserves a better franchise too. I think he's a horror icon. I haven't, I really haven't seen a ton of great films recently. I've been trying to go through movies that I saw actually. I saw this movie recently, and I liked it. I like the director a lot, Joe Bigos. He did a movie called Mind's Eye, which I think is a really good low budget horror movie, and a movie called Bliss as well, which is so bloody and crazy and over the top. I didn't like all the flashing in it, and even there was like a warning for that movie Bliss when you first put it on. If you have epilepsy, look away. You can't. It's too much. I've seen other movies with certain ones, but that was like the most I've ever seen. And I get the effect that it's supposed to create with the film, but it gets so annoying very quickly. But this one right here, I wanted to like it more than I did. I love the cast right here. Stephen Lang, William Sadler, Martin Coe, Fred Williamson, the Hammer right there. Also George Wendt. I think there's a couple other recognizable people too. And he always casts one guy in here. I can't remember his name. It's like Skipper or something, but he's been in a bunch of his movies from Joe Bigos. But it's basically about veterans of foreign war, like this bar, and this girl steals drugs called Hype, and like the cops won't enter the city, and she goes into the bar right there, and with all the people like the junkies running after her, and they get caught up in the middle of it and trying to protect her, and it's a all-out brawl, fight, shootout, battle, and I didn't love it. I wanted to like it more than I did. There's some good gore scenes in there, some good kills, and I like the cast, but I feel like it's something we've seen before, and some of the fight scenes weren't the best either. I mean, Fred Williams, I think, is like 82 years old, so props for him for still, kicking around. But I wanted to like it better than I did. I'll be talking about that more in depth coming up soon. I recently did see Bad Boys for Life. I did like a thing, like it was like a watch along thing on Twitter, and I actually thought that was fun too to do that. There's a lot of people involved, and, retweeting and liking and stuff like that, including Sony. So that was cool. But the movie itself, I thought they still had great chemistry, Mike and Marcus, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and it's good to see some of the characters coming back into it, Reggie especially. But I thought there was a twist towards the end. It was like a Jerry Springer family reunion twist. And I just felt like that was kind of unnecessary. But if you like action comedy movies, I think it's worth checking out. I definitely prefer the first two, but it also makes me want to see another in the franchise, just because I think the two leads are awesome, and I think they can pull off the Martin Lawrence more so the comedic aspect, but Will Smith can do both action and comedic. I've been just finished having dinner. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Christopher Harris. Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear you like Jeepers Creepers. one. Yeah, I definitely, for me, Jeepers Creepers, the first one is an American slasher, modern classic. The second one I didn't like quite as much, but it gives you more of a backstory for the creeper, and I definitely appreciate that. The third one I just thought was hot garbage. Hot garbage. I need another sip of the beverage right here. Mm. You know, I'm loving the ginger and the lime flavor, but it is strong. 10% ABV, copper can right there. Moscow Mule. I'll be doing a review of this soon. This is the first alcoholic beverage I've had in 45 days. I just really haven't been that big of a drinker in a long time. I remember it's funny because I used to do beer reviews on my channel more frequently, and I'd have a lot of people would just be watching my channel for movie reviews. So when I did anything alcohol related, I would get stupid comments like, "Oh, you're an alcoholic. You're promoting alcoholism." People need to calm the heck down. People are ridiculous sometimes. Yes, be eating you. I think this is the first time I've ever had a Moscow Mule, Nina, and I do like it for sure. Again, I love ginger beer in general. So, Eddie, what do you you're saying? There's a really strange one from the UK called Fabric. I know of it, but I haven't seen it. I do want to check that one out. I like finding like more obscure titles too, and more like hidden gems. You watched all the Leprechaun films? Oh man, some of them are a little rough to sit through. Leprechaun in the Hood, and there's Back to the Hood too, right? The newest one I wasn't a big fan of. I have it right here, in fact. And I want to rewatch this one to see even if it's worth keeping my collection. But I remember seeing it on the Sci-Fi Channel and not really enjoying it, honestly. I actually liked Origin, and I think I'm like one of the only people that ever liked the Leprechaun Origin movie. But let me scroll through. A lot of collectors worry more about the quantity. Yeah, I'm not down with that. Absolutely, I'm completely with you. I've actually, I still have a huge collection, but I've purged, over what you see. This many I've sold in the past. I want to say like 4 or 5 years, like over 7,000 DVDs, over 3,500 Blu-rays, and I only want to keep movies in my collection I can see myself rewatching again. And I kind of hit an impasse. There's certain movies that I, enjoyed, but I don't know, how often. I try to kind of like rationalize it. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of torn with certain movies, but I feel like if I am torn about it all, I should just get rid of it. I'm dumped. Oh, you're Karen. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you will feel better. Thank you so much for checking in though. What's the brand on this Moscow Mule? It is called the Copper Can. I'll be doing a review for it soon. But yes, definitely quality over quantity. Back in the day, I would do a lot of blind buys. I would get review copies, and I would just keep everything. And A, I don't have the space, and B, there's no reason to keep something just to have it. I don't understand that mindset. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you a quick. Oof, almost knocked over a huge stack right here by my feet. I've got so much stuff everywhere that I definitely have to get rid of a lot. Like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I didn't love it. I wanted to like it, but I don't. There's a bunch of ones I'm going to do updates and stuff for, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you the collection. Here's my horror Blu-rays right here, and then I got piles all over the floor for horror too. And then here's more horror Blu-rays. And I don't know how well this, can check on here to get everything in frame, but hopefully good enough. And then I have collector sets and Funkos and all kinds of stuff. And then I have the Critters standee right here, which I think is amazing. Critters 2 from 1988. I love it. There's actually another Critters 2 standee, but I think this one looks so much better. The other one I think is slightly smaller. It's just holding the 2 with the Critters ball right there. That's so freaking cool to me. But, and then this is a lot of stuff I'm going to get rid of over here. And then I've got steelbooks over there. Steelbooks. Digibooks, Arrow Video, and Criterion's up at the top. I've got bus sets and more Criterion and Twilight Time and some TV shows on Blu-ray and stuff like that. And then in here is the rest of the collection. Here's more stuff. Let me get the light on. So in this corner, I've got a bunch of goodies. I need more lighting over here. The lighting is horrendous. Right there. And over here. And more Blu-rays and collector sets up at the top. Some 4Ks and more Blu-rays, and the lighting in certain areas are just terrible, but more, there's some DVDs over here and then horror DVDs. And here's a Twisted Terror collection set, which I want to go through some of these movies again. It's been a long time since I've seen most of them. And there's a cool Jaws snow globe. But there you go. There it is, the collection overview. Oh, almost knocked over a pile. Yikes. But I definitely have to do some better organizing and cleaning up and getting rid of ones I can't see myself rewatching again. But let me scroll through. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff indeed, for sure. And it's what's so crazy is I've gotten rid of so many movies in the past couple of years. So scrolling through, I have not seen In Bruges, but I know of it. It's funny because I remember getting that at Blockbuster on DVD, and I got rid of it stupidly because I wanted to upgrade it on Blu-ray and just never picked it up. I did that with a bunch of films, but I've heard good things. Scrolling through, forgive me if I missed any comments. That light made no difference, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know, there's certain little corners of the room where even with the lights on, you can barely see it. I have to like move the lights to get really a good view over there. Oh, let me show you guys this, by the way. I got this promo item in, and it kind of cracked me up because it's like, with everything going on in the world, certain movie studios and stuff, their warehouses are shut down. But I got this promo item for Sonic the Hedgehog. It's like a paddle ball right there. I just thought that was super funny. I was like, that's what you're risking your lives for, to send me this Sonic the Hedgehog promo item paddle. Was it worth it? Hopefully nobody got sick, but I thought that was kind of crazy. I did hear actually good things about the Sonic movie. I'm gonna give it a chance. It didn't really wow me as far as the trailers. I remember when they first saw the trailers, I'm glad that they listened to the fans and redid the look for Sonic, because it did look terrifying, nightmare inducing right there. But there's a bunch of films, like I'm debating, like the movie The Ward, John Carpenter's The Ward. I'm debating about getting rid of that one. I rewatched that again recently. I wasn't really the biggest fan. I like certain aspects of it, but I think I'm gonna get rid of that one. Horror is my favorite genre, so I'm a little bit more forgiving with that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's awesome that they actually listen to the fans. I feel like more studios need to listen to the fans for sure. But it was cool that that actually happened. And I've heard good things about it too, so that's kind of a surprising thing. But I see there's 16 people in this watching this video right now. If you guys could give this video a thumbs up, I would definitely appreciate it. It will help get the video more exposure when I do these live streams in the future. So give this video a thumbs up, por favor. I see a lot of people doing that in their videos every single time, asking for that. I feel weird doing it, but on live streams is a little bit different. We got that, that instant interaction. So, Amber Heard, yes. I didn't really look too much into all the drama with her and Johnny Depp, but I remember somebody was telling me there was some kind of, I don't know if there was some, I don't know, not an interview, but like a recording of her. So I don't know. I always thought she was gorgeous, for sure. I remember she was in the movie Drive Angry, and I thought she was amazing in that. Oh, that was a fun time, kind of a grindhouse-esque film with Nick Cage. No, oh god, I hated The Mask with Jim Carrey, and I hated the Cher movie, The Mask, too. But that one gave me nightmares for years. I still can't even drink tomato soup because of the Cher movie and Eric Stoltz movie, The Mask. I remember I watched that movie when I was a little kid. I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I was drinking tomato soup, and I got sick and I threw it up. And I kind of just, I think because of the guy with the deformed face, he had like red hair, and I just kind of put the two together. So every time I would have tomato soup, I would just have that, like, that memory of that movie, and I would, just thinking about it would make me sick. But I would say my favorite Jim Carrey movie, that's such a tough call. I thought, The Majestic is kind of underrated, but Truman Show is so amazing. I love when he does dramatic roles. But for me, it would either be Truman Show or Dumb and Dumber, which is one of my all-time favorite comedy movies. So amazing. Jeff Daniels, like, he was so good in that too. I remember he used to be on some old TV show too, like a duck. And then, of course, in Living Color, which is one of the best sketch comedy shows ever. Drive Angry is definitely a fun one for sure. A great grindhouse. Which do you prefer, My Bloody Valentine, the original, or The Burning? Hands down, so easily, My Bloody Valentine. I always felt the Burning was overrated. I thought it was some of Tom Savini's worst effects, and whenever everybody raves about one scene in particular for that movie, the raft scene, I thought the effects were awful, especially the scene with the neck. You could see how badly that was done. It looks so amateurish, and I thought the editing, especially in like the final like third of the movie, was so bad. I liked Cropsy. He was cool, but besides that, and just a lot of well-known people who went on to be famous actors. Besides that aspect of it, it really wasn't that great. I think it's so overrated. My Bloody Valentine, the original, is an all-time slasher classic. One of my all-time favorite slashers, hands down. So that's not even like, close to me. But I get, a lot of people do love The Burning, but for me, not so much. Rumpelstiltskin. I have never seen Rumpelstiltskin. I always remember the cover for it though, but I've never seen it. Yeah, absolutely. Produced by Joe Ruby Spears. Oh, that's interesting to know about the Scooby Doo connection. Very cool. But yeah, let me know if you guys have seen anything good recently. Blood Creek, cheers to you, man. I think that is such an underrated film. You just popped up to that. That's so funny. That's gonna be a movie that's gonna be on like one of my underrated horror movies list because I love that one. I never hear anybody talk about that one. Super awesome. I actually just watched another like Nazi horror movie recently called Outpost. It's the third Outpost movie, Rise of the Spetsnaz, and there were some really cool, creepy scenes in there. But overall, it just left me wanting so much more from it. Um, the kills and yeah, absolutely for sure. I remember way back in the day. It must have been like at least 7, 8 years, probably 8 years ago. I want to say when the special edition DVD came out, and it was like a big thing, but because they put in some of the scenes that were like cut out, it was like the first time you could see it like that, and it was amazing and definitely still holds up to this day. There's a lot of old classic horror films. John Carpenter's The Thing. I still think are some of the best practical effects ever. Been watching Mario Bava. Absolutely, that's some good stuff for sure. I still have man, it's funny. I haven't put it in since I got it. And I feel terrible. I've seen it, but it's been such a long time. Uh oh, right here, Blood Black Lace, the steel book right there. And I'm gonna put that out so I can remind myself to watch it. And maybe I'll just keep it out over here, in fact, so I can remind myself to watch it. But I need to clear all this stuff out. I want to get rid of these comic books. Before all this happened, there was like a comic book shop not too far from me, and they were going to possibly buy the comics. I didn't hear back because I feel like they got a kid and everything. I was talking to the wife, one of the co-owners, and I don't blame them. They're going to shut down, obviously. So hopefully, once this resolves, that'll happen. Yeah, I know exactly. None of it's alphabetized, but I do know where things are. There's a method to the madness for sure. What have you watched since the virus lockdown? I've seen every 80s teen movie that I have. Awesome. Yeah, I've seen a ton of movies. I've been, trying to bang out some movies that I've had in my collection for a while that I haven't seen and revisiting ones too. Like after this is over, I'm going to watch the movie Legion, which I can kind of consider like a religious horror movie in a way. But that's one I've seen before, but it's been a while. But I've seen a ton of movies recently. The new Grudge movie, Bad Boys for Life, Vivarium, which I want to do a review for with Jesse Eisenberg and Imogene Poots. I thought it's a movie that I keep thinking about, but mixed feelings on it. And I want to do one of those like ending explain videos, although I usually find those videos to be a huge cop out. Any love for the Titanic? All right, so the Titanic, I love it as a period piece film. The romance aspect, I think, is so absurd to me. You just met this chick and you're gonna let yourself die? No, thank you. And there was room for both on that little that piece right there that was left, the door. So I think everybody could have survived. It could have been a happier ending. But I guess I wouldn't have made for such a dramatic movie. But I love the film as a period piece film. But Slaughterhouse Rules, I haven't seen. I have seen Priest. I thought it was, good action sequences. That's one I want to revisit as well. I remember not necessarily loving it. Yes, I have seen Once a Time in Hollywood, and Margot Robbie, absolutely stunning. Uh, if you're a fan of Margot Robbie and you've got a foot fetish, that'll be the movie for you. Quentin Tarantino did not sneak any of that in. He knows that everybody knows. It's right in your face now with it. I think it's kind of humorous. It's kind of embracing. It's almost kind of like a nod to all the fans that have jokes about it. But I do like the film. Although I will say it might be my least favorite Tarantino film. I feel like there's a huge wave of all the Manson and Manson family films coming out. Uh, what did you think of the original Candyman? I was actually just talking about that. I absolutely love it. I think it still holds up. It was one of those movies that scared me a ton as a kid. So I want to make somebody was asking me, left me like a few comments to do a top 10 scariest horror movie list. And I think that might be on it. More so like when I was younger, movies scared me a lot more. Now they don't, but so Candyman's probably gonna make the list. Scrolling through. Uh LA Confidential. It's been a long time since I've seen that one. I have to revisit it, but I remember enjoying the heck out of it. I feel like I disagree with you. I remember back, at least back in the day, like I feel like that was one that everybody talked about. I feel like it's kind of a thing. Like there's certain movies that came out. Like I remember when there was a French like zombie movie called La Horde, and when that first came out, like everybody was raving about it. Maybe it's just Canadian, but anyways, everybody was like raving about that film, and then like I haven't heard anybody talk about it since. But LA Confidential, I feel like is one that most people know if you're like a film fan. Or one time back in 2009, I went over to my friend's house and we were watching Jack Frost. The horror one or the one with Michael Keaton? The horror one is super cheese. So cheesy. I do have the Vinegar Syndrome release right over here. None of it's alphabetized, but there it is. And I got that sweet lenticular slipcover for it. And I got this Blu-ray bootleg right here for Fright Night 2, which I'd love to see a proper Blu-ray release for that. That's a Blu-ray bootleg I've had in my collection for so long now. But there was I don't know if it was Italy, I think, released it on Blu-ray. But yeah, Exorcist is one of those ones I think scared everybody as a kid for sure. Knives Out I thought was a really fun, Agatha Christie murder mystery film. I love the heck out of that one. And I know the lead actress, Anna Armadas, she was in a recent movie that I watched called Night Clerk, which she's briefly naked in. I feel like that's going to be like the big selling point for that movie because that movie was a little bit disappointing for me. And there's the lead actor in there as well. There's a few well-known. John Leguizamo's in there, Helen Hunt, a few other people too. The best horror movie ever made is the original Exorcist, in my opinion. No one can ever remake that movie. Impossible. Oh, I'm sure somebody. I think it'll happen for sure in our lifetime. Somebody's going to remake The Exorcist. Absolutely. But yeah, I definitely think it's a great film. For me, it's not. For me, I don't think it is. But for especially as a kid, that was like a horrifying film. But even when I remember watching it on like VHS, it was the one where it had like they added in the spider walk scene too. Let me know, has anybody on here seen the movie The Horror Express? It's an older one with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, Telly Savalas. That's one that's like an all-time classic for me, and I don't really hear. I think it was popular way back in the day, but I don't hear anybody talk about it now, and I feel like that's such a shame. Such an amazing film. Yeah, The Night Clerk, absolutely. It was disappointing, especially with the way that it ended. They could have done so much more with that. You have all this buildup, and that's where you go with it. But the Anna de Armas topless scene, I feel like that's gonna be like the selling point for that movie. I'm sorry to hear that, Corinne. Maybe I would say you to check out certain movies, but I also don't want to, freak you out. There's certain movies that I don't think you could laugh from for sure. Martyrs, Inside, things like that. Wolf. I haven't seen the Wolf Creek TV show, but I love the Wolf Creek movies. I thought the sequel was a really good, like an action horror one, and I feel like that deserves way more love. The second one, Toy Collector. What's up, man? How are you? Uh, Scrolling through. Let's compare the Flatliners movie. I love the original Flatliners movie. I didn't see the remake. I didn't really have a lot of desire to see it. In fact, I didn't hear much many reviews for it, many people talk about it at all. Let me know if you did see the Flatliners remake and how was it worth checking out? Awesome, awesome. Very much so, very much Thing-esque. I'm glad that you checked it out, the Aquarian. What movie do you like better, Slaughter High or Doom Asylum? That's so funny that you say that. I was just thinking about last night. I need to watch the Doom Asylum. I haven't seen Doom Asylum. Slaughter High, I do like though. But it was really kind of terrible what happened to the one actor who played Marty in it. I still remember that to this day, reading about that. Um, but yeah, let me know if anybody has. No, yeah, Flatliners with Kiefer Sutherland was recently remade not too long ago, maybe like 2, 3 years ago. But let me know what else anybody is watching that you would definitely give high recommendations to check out. Yeah, absolutely. For me, The Horror Express is an all-time favorite of mine. So, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Telly Savalas, that alone is a huge selling point. But and actually the Blu-ray release for that, I wish did I yeah, I'm pretty sure yeah, I kept there was like two releases for that. So I kept both because that's an all-time classic of mine. But good special features on it too for both releases. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. Yeah, I was just talking about that. The third one is terrible. Should have just been called The Truck. I love the first one. The second one to me wasn't quite as good, but I still like that they added more to the backstory of it. Uh, you're right. I'll give you that. But they could do little things around it. But I feel like I'm surprised that it hasn't been remade because I feel like everything is being remade. So that's my biggest thing for that. But yeah, there's certain things that couldn't be done now that were able to be done back in the day, or maybe they do it in another country. I don't know. uh, the Martyrs remake, I feel like it was unnecessary. I didn't think it was horrible, but I just thought it was unnecessary. I didn't see the Inside remake though. The Burbs is an all-time classic. I kind of put it I like horror-esque. It's horror comedy, really, but more comedy. But I love that one. Horror Express, yeah, I think it was it a Seven release first and then the Arrow release? I think it was Seven. I sometimes mix up Seven and Synapse, but I think it was Seven on that one. I don't think I've ever watched. No, I take it back. I watched one of the Killjoys movie, and I thought it was terrible. So I I didn't check out any. But to be fair, it wasn't like one of the. It was like I don't know the one where he's in like hell or something like that. I think they should make another Wrong Turn movie. Why the heck not? I've got Wrong Turn 2, 3, 4, 5, or 4, and then 6. I have one on DVD. I need to get it on Blu-ray. 5, I don't think is worth owning, but I mean, I still like the franchise overall. They need to get a better budget for it because I feel like um, the masks they got progressively worse with each film, so that's a big issue for sure. But I do like the franchise overall. Gremlins is a classic for sure. Seven release. Thank you. It was one of them. Thank you so much, Toy Collector. How are you doing? What's going on? Your collection is awesome, by the way. I didn't mind 3, Wrong Turn 3, but Wrong Turn 5 was horrendous, easily the worst in the franchise, and to me, not worth owning. So I don't have that one for that reason. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Again, Toy Collector has such an amazing collection on here. Dr. Giggles, yes. Actually, it's funny because I pulled out a horror box set I have in the other room on DVD, and I might watch Dr. Giggles coming up soon, either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see how late I stay up tonight, but let me know what you guys are going to be. Yes, Just Before Dawn is, to me, it's the prototypical backwoods slasher film that inspired movies like Wrong Turn. I love the heck out of it. The ending is crazy. I didn't get the new Code Red release. I hate the artwork for that. The artwork is just some of the worst horror artwork I've ever seen for a Blu-ray release or horror Blu-ray. What do you think of the Harry Potter movies? You may have been a little old when they first came out. Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I first saw them, I was like, I don't really care to see these sickly British kids flying around on mops. Uh, that was my initial thought. I couldn't get into it, but they were recently on. They had like a marathon on maybe a few months ago, and I got kind of into it. So I have all the films, so I want to sit down and watch them all from start to finish because I've never sat through a full Harry Potter movie. I've seen bits and pieces. I've seen 20 minutes in to the end. So I've never, and I've probably there's so many of those films now. There's the last one was split in two, I guess, but those ones look the most interesting to me because they're older, they look darker overall tonal wise. But there's so many. I feel like I need to have a proper marathon for it and sit down. I'm long overdue for that. So I've never sat through a full complete Harry Potter movie. Back in the day, I just couldn't get into it because it just didn't really appeal to me. But when it came on a couple months ago, I saw parts of it and I was definitely more into it for sure. Yes, Joyride, the first Joyride movie is awesome. The sequels were not very good at all. Have you watched the guy from Australia that buys all the premium editions from around the world? No, I don't know who that is. Let me know. I guess it's a YouTuber. Let me know who that is, and I'll check it out. What do you think of It Chapter 2? I thought it was very good. Again, I love the original miniseries more so, not for because I didn't think it was scary at all, but I definitely think the storytelling was awesome. But the newer ones definitely have some good scares, especially for younger audiences. If I were to watch those movies as a kid, it would have freaked me the heck out. Uh, I agree with that toy collector for sure. I can't stand Harry Potter, but for some reason, I see the merchandise. I have to have it. That is weird, Karen. But what are you guys gonna watch tonight after this? Let me know and leave me some movie recommendations for me to check out because we're all watching movies. But I'm so tempted to do a couple movie reviews coming up. I want to possibly do one for Vivarium, Hounds of Love, and then there's a movie I saw with Pete Davidson in it recently. It was a Hulu movie. So I can't remember something about adolescence. I can't remember the full title of it right now. But it's a newer film. It's on Hulu, and I like Pete Davidson. I remember seeing him in my local comedy club a while back. But definitely give me some movie recommendations to check out. And I guess after this, maybe later tonight or either tomorrow, I'll be announcing the winner for the Horror Pack Blu-ray giveaway. There we go. But I think I'm gonna hop off here now because I love doing these live streams. It's instant interaction. Um, and there's my Killer Clowns poster right there. But time goes by so quickly. It's 51 minutes now. So I'm going to, bid you adieu and say good night for on here. But I'm gonna be watching the movie Legion, and if there's time, I might watch Dr. Giggles. But leave me a comment down below, letting me know what you're gonna watch tonight and what movie recommendations you have for me to check out. And good night, and thank you for tuning in. Cheers. And boom.